It's one of last season's promoted club, Stoke City, who faced Arsenal. Surprisingly, the Potters have won their last 3 home games against the Gunners in the league, although you'd have to go back to 1985 for the last of those victories. The commentator at the Britannia Stadium was Jonathan Pearce.
It's Sidibe, Fuller straight offside. Sidibe had to hold on to it. Now he looks for Fuller. He has power and pace, Fuller, and he looks for Sidibe, and then for the return. It was well read by Toure. And for the first time in this game, with 10 minutes gone, we see the Rory Delap long throw weapon. Shawcross is in there, it's aimed at him, beyond him, and Stoke lead, and it came off Toure. And yet again, it's a Rory Delap throw that caused the problems. Toure under pressure from Fuller. And it may have been Fuller who got the last touch. I think it just glanced off Fuller's forehead as he went for it. High towards Shawcross. Arsenal again look uncomfortable right from the word go. They're back into the box, away by Sylvestre. Higginbottom goes down the outside route, and it's a tantalising cross. Shawcross gets up well, Fuller's in the middle. That's terrible goalkeeping, Delap, and it's off the line. Arsenal look all at sea in their attempts to counter the aerial threat of Stoke, and that was horrible goalkeeping by Almunia. A goalkeeper needs to be big, bold, and come and collect those, and he never looked like doing it. Delap's header off the line by Clichy. Fabregas with the corner. Toure! So close. Delap's throw. Now look how far he is from goal. Sidibe's at the near post. Shawcross again is just behind him. It's cleared away towards João, and it sneaked in, and that's a good save in the end. João with the strike, and Almunia saw it late because Toure is just in front of him. Good goalkeeping, stretched well. And Stoke City have another throw. Delap to hurl it in, up goes Shawcross, the touch on, and it's bundled in, and Stoke have a second goal. Olafinjana arriving at the far post, made short. And once again, Arsenal have been undone by a Stoke long throw. The goalkeeper indecisive, could he have come? It was a long way out, but no one tracked Olafinjana. One touch with the chest, and then the second made sure. What was Almunia doing? Fabregas, Bentner. Confidently done. So confidently done. Oh, and Van Persie was silly there. He was drawn in by the goalkeeper, and he's sent off. How daft was that? He will be an angry manager tonight for many reasons. Walcott, we're into 4 minutes of stoppage time. Theo Walcott, caught by Delap. Poor challenge that. Walcott was away from Whelan. Mistimed tackle, but he knew what he was doing, Delap. He had to stop Walcott, and he did. It was a poor tackle. A very poor afternoon for Arsenal. It has just got horribly worse. Well, that's a distressing sight for Arsenal fans and for football fans. Fabregas, Clichy. Oh, it zipped on through, and Gaël Clichy has scored for Arsenal. Is the comeback on Or is this the day, a horrible day for Arsenal, that they suffer a painful, distressing and damaging defeat?
It was a very difficult day for us because we had a lot of possession, a lot of the ball in their own half, but didn't create many chances, and conceded two goals where Stoke is strong at, you know.
Is it unfair then to, to brand you one-dimensional? Well, I think so, but then I work it. I'm a Stoke fan, so. But I think people have come. I think often people are surprised. They say, "Oh, it wasn't quite as I imagined." You actually do play some good football. So I think the more people see us, the more they'll concentrate on other aspects other than the long throw.
At some stage, you have to jump for the ball, or the keeper has to come for the ball, and you have to accept as well that they could express their strengths. That's their strengths, and they did it well.
The energy of the team, got us into the positions to be able to get, throw-ins and chances, and there's more to our game, but I'm sure, again, today probably hasn't helped, but people are going to say the same things about my throw.
We'll go into Saturday's game with Manchester United looking for their first win in 4 matches after they were held to a goalless draw by Fenerbahce, and there's a fresh injury worry for Arsene Wenger, with Mikel Silvestre forced off with a suspected broken nose.
They'd taken Fenerbahce apart on their own ground. Arsenal were now about to be denied a repeat performance through a combination of wasted chances and rugged defending. Fabregas set up Van Persie for their first quality opening. Volkan moved swiftly to block. The Dutchman was in perfect position to threaten again. This time a defender's legs stretched out to deny him. Arsenal weren't slow to match Fenerbahce in terms of commitment, a little too enthusiastically by Giroud, who could hardly complain about the yellow card. Van Persie was at it again up front. This time Volkan's touch was enough to save his side. And despite their almost total domination, there was always the chance that Arsenal's defence would suffer another lapse. Gökhan tested Fabianski's powers of concentration. The nearest Arsenal came after the break was a defender's despairing header. Sirkuk, the man who almost beat his own keeper. Lothar Silvestre was much more serious. He left with blood streaming from his nose, and by the end, Arsene Wenger's frustration was mounting. Peter Staunton, Sky Sports.
I believe that overall we didn't concede a goal, and we created many chances in the first half. In the second half we became a bit flat physically, and I believe that's explainable by the fact that we had 3 tough games physically last week, and that you could see that on the creative side of our game in the second half.
Do you think some of the players are lacking a bit of confidence at the moment?
I don't feel confidence. I feel more it was physical in the last 30 minutes. We couldn't increase the tempo anymore, and you could see that. And if you look overall at the results of the English teams this week, you could feel that the Premiership is very demanding, and that last week everybody had difficult games.
Well, this is how Group G looks now. It's Arsenal top with 8 points. Porto second. They were winners. Kiev are just a point behind. Arsenal have Kiev at home in their next game. Fenerbahce, who were the opponents this time around at the Emirates, are bottom with 2.
I think Van der Sar is a very, very good goalkeeper. I think he was great last season. Everybody spoke about Manchester United, and Alex said he's the best team. I think also they need to give credit for the defense side. They have very good attackers, but the defense side of Van der Sar last year was the best, and he's a very good goalkeeper. I think he's a good goalkeeper, even sometimes they made mistakes this year, but it's happened. Arsenal playing is very attacking football, and you can see that they started attacking from behind, and all the midfielders are more attacking. Even the defensive midfield is more attacking than defending, so it makes a lot of pressure on the defense side when the other team is attacked, especially now when Gallas is injured, Silvestre is injured. So, in defense, I always believe that players need to play as long as they can together. Rio Ferdinand is a great, great player and a great, great leader, and Vidic is very good. So, because they are good and because of the Van der Sar, you can see the other teams can attack very, with a lot of confidence. I think it's a problem. I think they play with bent now because they don't have a lot of choices. But I don't know. I think in the end of the day, it doesn't matter who will play. The style of the team will stay the same this Saturday. Sometimes you need to score for 2 or 3 opportunities. Arsenal needs 4 or 5 opportunities. But I like the style of team. They play very, very good. This is, I think, the strength. Sometimes it's also a weakness because many players are attacking, and it looks like it's easy to, not easy, but it's more easy to attack against them. But they are very good in this. Man United, I think they have the best forwards that you can imagine. They have Ronaldo. Look at the players. Ronaldo, Berbatov, genius players. Tevez, Rooney, for me, great player. Nani, Giggs. They always play with 4 forwards. Even if they play 4-3-3, it's 4 forwards you can say about this. Very good. They want to see your team winning, which is important, but they want to see also that you are playing good football. And I think both of them know how to do it in a very different way. Alex Ferguson, for me, is the most modern manager, even now, because he always look one step ahead in the style of playing and how to behave to players. Is not the same that behaved 20 years ago, the same person. He knows how the football has developed, and football will develop a lot. You behave to the players differently than you behaved 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I was a dictator. Now you need to go to the head of the players, and he knows how to do it. Arsene always did it. He's a very, very intelligent man. I think he's maybe even the last romantican on the football that is ready to do everything to play good football. Is like, if I may say, like sometimes you see a beautiful woman and you're in love with it. He's in love in football.
Plenty more build-up to tomorrow's big match still to come. Next hour, we'll hear from the former Arsenal striker, Davor Suker.
I don't know the one team in the world who win every game, and of course Arsenal have good, excellent future, but you need to wait.
You can see Arsenal against Manchester United live from noon tomorrow, Sky Sports 1 and HD1.
Arsene, reports suggest you may be without up to 9 first-team regulars against Manchester United. Could you just give us the latest injury news today, please?
I cannot a lot because we have to make a VAT check. We have a squad for tonight, and we'll make a check with medical people tonight who I can play and who I cannot play.
Has Theo Walcott trained today? Has he taken a full part in training?
He has practiced, yes. But we make a decision about him tomorrow morning.
Is this the sort of game that you can win with a patched-up team, if you like?
I believe that I have a squad of 20 players who are all of top quality, and I'm not concerned about the fact that who doesn't play at the moment, even if they are, of course, big players. But I'm more focused on giving the players who play the belief and the confidence and the desire to win.
Will Silvestre play? Are you confident he could withstand the physical side of a game with the injury he's got?
Again, I have to check that tonight,
Is it the kind of game that you risk players in?
Not, you can risk 1 or 2, but you cannot risk 3 or 4, because if something happens, you have no potential change anymore.
Could you tell me about Nicholas Bentner and what gives you the belief, if he plays, what gives you the belief that he's got quality enough to lead the line himself, and what you see in him that you think is an improvement, maybe?
I believe he's intelligent. He has strengths, quality, good collective sense, and he's good in the air, good on the ground, and he's quick. Plenty of qualities.
There have been games in the past against Manchester United where they've used very physical tactics against you. I remember in one game, Jose Reyes, for example, received a lot of attention. Do you expect a similar kind of approach from United?
No, I believe I'm nothing against. I would like to repeat what I said last week. I'm nothing against physical games, and what I want is just that the referee has to protect both teams on the pitch and to make the right decisions and protect the teams when he thinks it's right to do it.
Are you expecting a physical game tomorrow?
A committed one, certainly. You want a top-level game. If it's not committed, it's not a top-level game. Without commitment is an important part of football, and of course you want it to be physical.
You've lost 3 Premier League games already. If you lose 4, can you still win the title?
Well, it depends how many games the other contenders lose, and I believe that in this job, I'm personally believe in my team. I'm very proud of what they do, and very proud of the job I'm doing as well. And even if at the moment the results are not as good as we want them to be, there's no alarming sign of the team not having the potential. And at the end of the year, I just can say meet you in May, and we'll see where we are.
Bob Wilson said on Sky Sports News yesterday that he feels that there's a media witch hunt against Arsenal at times and against you personally at times, and that if that continues, you may walk away from this league and this club. Are you that frustrated at the moment where you may question your future in England?
No, I love it here, you know, and I feel it's a bit part of the game, the media's play, and I cannot influence that. I can influence. I don't question my commitment for Arsenal, and I could show you concrete signs that I've done that over the years. In my decisions, always what is at first is the interest of the club, not what the media will think, and that doesn't question my commitment. I cannot influence what people say, but I can influence the future of the club, and if I look back and if I look in front, I'm rather proud of the decisions I made.
If teams continue to play physically against you and try and stop you playing what many people describe as the beautiful game, could that lead you to question your future in this country?
Not at all. I believe that I have nothing against teams who try to stop us at any, and I would just like to reiterate one thing. I congratulated Stoke after the victory because they played with their weapons and they did it very well. What I said was to an answer of somebody who accused my players of not being brave, you know, and that is 2 different things, and that's why I don't. Every club and every opposition gives us a different problem, and we have to be strong enough to sort that problem out and to find the solutions.
What sort of problems do you expect Manchester United to cause you then?
Man United can give you all sorts of problems. And in fact, what is very important in this kind of games is not to focus too much on the strengths of your opponent, because they are strong everywhere. You make sure that your team plays at full strength, full potential, full commitment, and with great belief. That is more important to win the game and to focus on the strengths of Man United.
Do you think your team has the confidence? Because you were saying after the Champions League game you thought they were tired. What about the confidence? Because you say you have belief and confidence, but do they? Is that draining?
What I wanted to say after the Champions League game, I can give you, we have taken initiative in this game and we were unfortunate not to win it. And I believe, for example, in the Champions League game, everybody's after us, but we have not done worse than any other team in England. We are top of our group in maybe one of the most difficult groups in the Champions League with 8 points. There's only 1 team in whole Europe with 10. We have made 2 wins and 2 draws, and I'm a little bit surprised at the reaction of people. We have played against a team who deserves respect because we are a good side in Europe.
What about the level of experience? I mean, you will possibly have Bentner and Vela up front, whereas Man United have got Berbatov, they've got Rooney, they've got Ronaldo, they've got Tevez, they've got great experience through the team, and you're struggling against injuries.
You're right that if the result at the end of the season will be based on experience, we will go down. No, because every single team has more experience than we have. I don't believe that success is linked with experience, is linked with desire, with talent, with intelligence, and you can be intelligent at 18, at 20, and you can be stupid at 30.
What about your weapons then? Okay then, fair point. What about your weapons then tomorrow to be able to counter what Man United will undoubtedly have?
Well, I believe we have, of course, need a great team performance to stop them from expressing their qualities, because they are intelligent players with a lot of talent, and we want, of course, to stop them. But I believe you can say Rooney, Ronaldo, Berbatov, they have so many talented players or geeks, but you think then straight away it's down more to our team defending than trying to stop any given individual, because they can all make a difference.
And do you feel underdogs almost? I mean, you're Man United favourites because...
I don't feel underdogs at all. I feel I go into this game with a desire to win it, and that's all the belief I have.
Fascinating, and there's more to come from that news conference as well, but there's so much to pick out of that, particularly that last bit where he was talking about the fact that it's based on experience. If it was just based on experience, Arsenal would be relegated. He says success is, in his opinion, nothing to do with experience. As far as his future's concerned, he says, I'm not leaving, even if we continue to get over-physical play against us. I love it here. I'm not questioning my commitment. I can't influence what people say. I'm proud of the decisions I've made. Looking back, doesn't feel like underdogs. And he's never been against physical games, just wants protection from referees, because he was asked the question specifically about his players not being brave, and that's the thing that he was reacting to.
And despite a host of injuries, Walcott, Gallas, Sagna, Adebayor all potentially missing the game against Manchester United. Well, Adebayor certainly is set to miss it. He said they do have the squad to cope. So that's the insightful words of Arsene Wenger. We'll have more from him in the next hour. And we'll also be hearing from his opposite number tomorrow. So Alex Ferguson's press conference is due this afternoon. We'll bring that to you as we build up to one of the biggest games of the season. It's Arsenal against Manchester United.
Do you think after 12 years he could walk away from Arsenal?
12 years is a long time. It's a big time of the glory, and sometimes you, of course, you cannot. I don't know the one team in the world who win every game, you know. And of course, Arsenal have good, excellent future, but you need to wait. This is the part of the football.
Some people say that Arsenal are lacking some experience, some leaders in the team. Would you agree with that?
I think exactly what he needs, you know, a little bit more experience. This is formula in football, and I hope the Arsene he will find, you know, he will find what he needs. And now it's so many games and no one have excuse. But of course Arsenal need to stay at top of the league and stay in the Champions League. That's Arsenal future.
Do you think they can really win the Premier League though this year, or even the Champions League?
Why not? Why not? It's 3 points every game, and if you win that important games, not against Man United or Chelsea, all games is 3 points. If you can win 3-1, 2-1, of course it's the derby, it's the best game in the Premier League, and I hope we can enjoy with 3 points stay at home.
The 6-yard box. He's missed a golden opportunity.
In Premier League terms, it's 8 points from a possible 18. And that's why there have been lots of stories about Arsene Wenger's problems during the course of the week. Charlie, I saw Arsene quoted this week as saying, "I'm always having to answer questions as though we have failed."
Yeah.
Has he failed?
No. I think he's handling the situation well. You know, I think a lot of the media concept this week that I've read is, you know, someone actually in one of the papers yesterday saying it might be time for Wenger to go. Why? Been an absolute genius. He's taught us so much. He's given us...
Not won anything since 2005.
Yeah, I know that. Arsenal fans are more than aware of that. And as an Arsenal fan, I have my concerns. I said at the start of the season, I think they're 2 players away from being a great side, a successful side. But Arsene, for some reason, decided to stay loyal to the group of players that he's got. He did try very, very hard to get Alonso. I did think that he needed a centre-back, and I think if he got the right centre-back and he got an experienced midfield player, Jeff, this team would win prizes. Arsene decides that he thinks he's got enough, and that's fine. What I can't understand, though, Jeff, and I know some of the fans were booing towards at the end of the game, is Tottenham result was a real bad one for them, because no other top side would lose 2 goals the way that Arsenal did. Every other team would have shut shop. So that's the question marks there. But, you know, you look at what the chances that they made during the week again. Is that Wenger's problem?
But they've lost to Fulham and Hull and Stoke City.
Yeah, but sometimes as a group, as a collective group, you have to identify some of the players. Is Gallas, the captain, leading? No. Is the players in midfield, is Fabregas doing enough at the moment? No. There's concerns within the players, and Wenger will protect them, quite rightly so. I think he's handling the situation well. I don't think he should be questioned. He must question his players to say, am I getting enough from you? And I think that's what
he chose those players and bought those players. If you question the players, surely you're questioning the manager as well. I'll put that to Paul Merson.
I half don't agree with Charlie, and the reason is he's saying that he's having to say because he's failing, sort of thing. You've got to remember that he set such an unbelievable standard. 4 years ago, they went the whole season without losing a game. Within no time, that team is completely broken up. And the question is, why is that team broke? Why are they all gone? You know, they weren't OTT, they weren't over the top. They've gone the whole season. And all of a sudden, that's why he gets the stick, because he set such an unbelievable standard. People expect him to do it year in, year out. And I do. I do. 4 years ago, they were the best team, and it looked like, Jeff, they were going to dominate English football for many, many years to come.
Why did the team break up then, Mass?
I don't know. That's what you got. That's why people.
Wages.
Arsenal are a big club. They're a big club.
But they have a ceiling on the wage structure, don't they? Which is a bit of a hindrance.
You say that.
Yeah, but they're still the second
gets
top
big
players
money.
under
Yeah,
Manchester.
they get big money.
They pay more than the Liverpool players. I mean, the curfew of 75 grand a week. But the thing is, Wenger said to most of these players, you do well, you go in the top salary. Yeah. That only Man United pay more than them, Walshy. So that's what the players...
baffled why they move on and why the team broke up.
You remember the debate we had in the summer, and you questioned me when I said Adebayor, if they got the right money, they'd sell him. Has his head been right since he came back this season? I don't think it has. You know, I think a lot of the players...
He's got 9 goals, he's the top scorer.
But that...
How often do they look like scoring against Fenerbahce without him?
Listen, all I would say to you is that for a period of the season, Rooney couldn't score a goal. Was he contributing to the team? Of course he was. Contribution as a team is far more important than the individual glory. And that's where Arsenal are going up this alley, that they like the glory, they like the way they're fantastic to watch. Even the guys who don't support Arsenal admire the way that the structure and the way they play. Are they together as a group the way that they said at the start of the season they were? I don't think they are.
Do you feel, Phil, let's bring you in on this. I mean, do you feel...
I'm just enjoying this, Jeff, by the way. It's nice for somebody else to have problems.
but there is a sense, there's a sense, isn't there, that Arsene Wenger at Arsenal has a job for life, if he so wishes. Is that a healthy situation?
I think it is with Arsenal. Hey, listen.
Because he may then feel there's no time scale required to bring success.
Jeff, he knows the game. He knows he needs to win trophies. And yes, I would like to think this is possibly the best footballing side in the league. And I take Manchester United, I take Chelsea, and I take Liverpool, anybody. They are still the best team. When they play the football, it is fantastic to watch. but there's elements which have been missing in the side. And yes, the manager has to take responsibility for not changing that at the right time. Yes, he may believe, and sometimes you've got to check yourself. Nobody gets it right all the time, Jeff. I don't care whether it's Alex Ferguson, Rafa Benitez, who was Jose Mourinho, or whatever. They have to check themselves. And I think Arsene does have to have a look. And Charlie was saying before, they were missing this. Yes, they were missing a centre-back, wasn't identified. Centre midfield, and maybe not even an Alonso. I know he's a great footballer, but they needed something different. Arsenal's problems is too many of the better players are not delivering. And it's there, I'm watching it. Bentner's not good enough. Nasri, to me, is not good enough away from home. Danielson, nobody mentions it. He's playing nearly every game. He's not doing enough. Fabregas is the leader, and people are saying he should be a captain. I could go on and on. There's not enough, and that's where his problem lies at this moment. So he needs to try and get to the root of it and get some confidence back into these wonderful players.
I don't think he's got enough really good options, Jeff, when those key players aren't performing. When you need when a Fabregas isn't doing it, I know you wouldn't take him out the side, but an Adebayor, then you've had the injuries to go with it. But if those key players aren't doing it, can you take any of them off? Can you replace them with the quality? And I think the problem with Arsenal is sometimes when you look on the bench is, are there enough options there of real quality to come on and change the game, like Manchester United have?
We'll talk a great deal more about this in a moment or two. By the way, for those critics of Arsene Wenger, when he arrived in October 1996, Arsenal had drawn with Coventry, drawn with Stoke and drawn with the MK Dons.
They were lucky.
And just if you look back at his record over the past decade, finished second in the year 2000, then second again, top, second, fourth, third.
Terrible.
Not bad, is it? Doesn't smack of failure. Let's go off to the Emirates. Alan Smith is all ready in position. Afternoon to you, Alan.
Hi there, Jeff.
Disappointing, I think, against Fenerbahce in midweek, weren't they? Has he been tempted, Arsene Wenger, to make changes?
Well, he has made changes because he's got some players back, Jeff. I mean, William Gallas and Theo Walcott both return from those injuries. Silvestre does play, interestingly, instead of Kolo Touré, who's on the bench, and I thought he looked a little bit jaded in the week, Touré, playing at right back, bombing up and down. So a couple of changes, but I think the big question was how he was going to play it up front without Van Persie and Adebayor. He's got Nicolas Bentner, and it looks as if he might play Abu Diaby just off him. Arsene Wenger likes Diaby in that little position in the hole, supporting the striker, and all the rest are there. Bakary Sagna's back, Almunia's back.
Tell you what, Alan, I just wonder whether that illustrates the difference between the two clubs at the moment. Arsenal have Bentner up front with Abu Diaby playing just off him. Tottenham have got the choice. The ex-Tottenham player Berbatov is one of Manchester United's options, of course. Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez. There's a huge gulf in striking terms between the two.
There is. I mean, it's no secret that United have got the best strike force, I think, in terms of experience, the proven players. So, I mean, if they lost their first choice strikers, as Arsenal have done, if they lost Berbatov and Rooney, yes, they've got Tevez, they can play Ronaldo in a supporting role, they can get away with it. And that applies right round the pitch, doesn't it? I mean, look at the options in midfield when Darren Fletcher's fit, Giggsy, Nani, Owen Hargreaves when he comes back. It costs money, but, they are in a much stronger position than Arsenal from that point of view.
So who's he got with up front today then, Alan?
He's gone with Berbatov and Rooney, Jeff. It's a pretty strong side. It's actually one change from the team that started against Hull last week. Ji-Sung Park comes in instead of Nani, who didn't have the best of games at Celtic in the week. But apart from that, they're all there. Ferdinand, Evra, Vidic, Neville, Ronaldo on the right. It's as close as he could get, perhaps, to his strongest team.
OK, Alan, thanks very much indeed. Look forward to hearing from you during the course of the afternoon. One thing about Arsene Wenger you have to say is he never dodges an issue. If he feels something strongly enough, he will always say it. And of course, sometimes he gets himself in trouble, Paul. He's been talking this week about events at Stoke last week, and he used that very emotive word, cowards, about the Stoke City players, and said they had injured some of his players deliberately. Was there an element of truth in that or not?
I can't have that, Jeff. I mean, I know he's frustrated. I know that things aren't quite going to plan, but I just can't accept that. I thought that the Shawcross tackle on Adebayor was a bit of a cheap shot, to be honest, where he's nearly off the pitch, and he knew it was a shot to nothing when he made the tackle. But generally,
here it is coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it rolled his ankle over, and that's why he's out for 3 weeks. And I think that's a poorish challenge. He's just making sure, but he's never going to put himself at risk. He knows he might give Adebayor a dig, and he did give him a dig. But generally speaking, all the other incidents, I can't have it. I mean, the Walcott one, for instance, you know, it's one of those players, Walcott, where you think you've got him and he just shifts the ball away from you, and the tackle comes in, and I think he hurts his shoulder from it. You know, you see he's got such great pace and he's moving away. Just as Delap thought he was going to get it, he shifts it again.
Do you think Delap ever thought he was going to get that
Well,
ball?
probably not, but he had to have a go, didn't he?
Cynical, wasn't it? Don't you think that was
No, I
cynical
don't think. No, I don't think it's cynical.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? I know, but it's nothing. There's nothing nasty or whatever. There's a difference. I totally agree with Paul. That one tackle by Shawcross on, I think that was uncalled for. Can I just tell you something, by the way? Arsenal are not totally innocent in the injury to Adebayor, because they left the boy on the pitch. When he done that, he stayed on, and you could see he was in trouble. And what happened again? He went up for a high ball. It must have been 10 minutes later or something. He come down on that same ankle and damaged it, and then he limped off. And we've just seen him limping off. That wasn't because of the first challenge. That was because he injured it again. Now, they were wrong. They should have had him off. I could see he was badly injured, and I thought that was a bad tackle. The rest of them, I did the game, Jeff, and there was nothing like that in that at all. There was nobody deliberately trying to injure players, and I think that was a cheap shot, deflecting away of the performance of Arsenal as a team, and specifically Arsenal as individuals, because some of them, not only they weren't up for the battle, they were poor.
Who?
The players.
Yeah, but
somebody else.
You said some of them weren't up for the battle.
I've gone through them before. I said it last week. Bentner, Nasri, Danielson. They weren't there. They weren't sort of ready for it. And that is what I was looking. So I think Arsenal is looking. He's always so protective of his players, and that's the first thing that you do as a manager. You protect your players. And I think he's trying to deflect any criticism of them individually and as a team. And they were responsible for that poor display. It wasn't Stoke. Stoke did their thing to get their own game intact, and it was at the expense of Arsenal.
But you said the players were responsible, but Charlie, to what degree was the manager responsible, in the sense that he knew precisely what Stoke would throw at them, quite literally, and yet they still seemingly weren't equipped to handle it?
Well, the manager would accept his criticism, I think, Jeff, because for the first time that I can recall, he changed his team beliefs and went for height, and yet he still has people like Danielson, Nasri in the team. Now, he's adjusted to accommodate Stoke, and yet they don't accommodate. They just, you know, they're just brushed aside. So he has to take responsibility. I think that's where he's put the twist on it, because I don't remember Tomo saying last week that there was really that many nasty incidents. And at the end of the game, Jeff, if you remember, I think Tomo touched on it, and he said Arsene was actually quite complimentary in a way to Stoke. He was very composed and very calm. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, he's found another twist in it.
Well, I think he said that was really a reaction to people questioning the courage, the bravery of his players, if you like.
Yeah, but listen, it's the hardest thing in the game is to go and get on the ball if you know you're going to get kicked.
That's brave, yeah.
You know, that is brave. That takes courage to do that. And the way that he wants his team and his philosophy in football, everybody applauds it. It's wonderful. And it's great sometimes that he's stubborn and he stays to that philosophy. Doesn't always work for him. But the other side of the game is you've got to mix it, and Arsenal don't mix it. You could see in that first row when it came in, Tomo was doing that with his arm last week, because if Arsenal don't know that, you know, then they're doing things wrong, and the manager must have prepared them for that. So he has to hold himself responsible to say, did the goalkeeper come and contribute to the first row in? Of course he didn't. Jury gets the blame because he doesn't defend it properly. The keeper should have been coming and doing that. It's a waste of time, everybody pointing the finger at each other. Unfortunately, Arsenal at the moment are doing that. They're in their own little worlds. They're individuals, whereas they need to be more together.
But I mean, Charlie makes the point there about saying, you know, that the players are brave, they don't like to have the ball and so on and so forth. But I mean, looking, for instance, at the midfield that played against Fenerbahce, doesn't it strike you, you know, that they're all sort of clones? You know, every one of the four who played that night, you know, Ramsey, Danielson, Fabregas and Nasri, almost identical, both physically and in the way they play the game.
Well, I was surprised because Diaby was the best player in Fenerbahce. He was as good as anybody that night, and he never played. And they are their small team, very small. It was okay against Fenerbahce in that way, Jeff, because they never got balls into the box like the Stoke game. But
they never look bring it down.
The first half, they had two good chances. Keeper made two great saves. If one of them goes in, they win the game 3 or 4. Second half, They never look like scoring. And I can't remember the last time I watched Arsenal play and they've come off the pitch and I've gone, wow, they never look like scoring today.
No, it was Stoke. It was Stoke.
Yeah, I never see that game. Do you know what I mean?
Paul, have you ever seen midfield give the ball away so often?
Never. And they were nervous. They're a young team and they haven't got loads of experience and they give it away for fun. And they were making the wrong decisions. You know, when you're playing well, you find players and you keep the ball. When you're not playing well and the confidence is low, that's what happens. You start thinking, I don't want the ball, and it becomes a hot potato. You know, when everything's going well, they're a good team, Arsenal, and that's what worries me today. If they score first, they have a chance. If Man United score first, I don't give Arsenal a chance.
I mean, the pressure that they're feeling now.
Exactly, yeah.
That's where you need the experienced guys. You know, Alex Song, he's been saying all summer, he'll fit in with Fabregas, he'll be my Flamini, if you like. And as yet, he's relatively new to the Arsenal side. He's been about a long time, but he's relatively new. And there's a difference between the experience that you've gained. And unfortunately, the experience that Danielson, Nasri's just here, but Walcott, they've been about for a couple of years, Jeff. But they've not won anything. And there's a different experience when you have played in a team, and you don't have to be the best player in the team. You just need to have that experience. We're 4-2 up against Spurs.
You know how you've got to win a football match. You've got to know how to win a football match. And the thing, this is probably the first time today, Jeff, ever, that you look at Arsenal team and you look at the Man United team, and I look at it and I think, right, there's only Fabregas who could get in the Man United team. I don't see anybody else who can get in.
Are they permanently now, Phil, in your view, out of the market to compete for players like Berbatov? You know, I mean, Arsenal were never linked with Berbatov. There he was, he clearly wanted to leave, he wanted to go to a Champions League side. Arsenal were never in the frame to buy a player of that calibre.
Well, they're not in the frame yet. Arsene's his own man. Arsene's his own man as to who he picks, who he wants. He loves to pick, if you want, a young player and make
Wouldn't a Berbatov have been absolutely fabulous?
It does seem low to pay that type of money, doesn't it?
It's his age, it's his age. I don't know, how old is Berbatov?
27, 28, isn't he?
He would look at that and go, for that amount of money, in 4 years' time, I won't get a penny for it.
He's not got that money.
And he ain't got the money.
He's not got that money.
I believe that you need a mix.
He's being told, we're hearing repeatedly from the Arsenal board that they do have that money,
Charlie,
and that Arsene Wenger did not want to spend it.
Danny Fishman was in the paper, Charlie, saying if Arsene Wenger, I don't know if he was trying to send a message out, if he wanted a £25 million player, he's got the money.
Yeah,
a 21-year-old
I heard it myself, Walsh, and I looked at it and I think, it sounds right, but is it a purpose behind it? Arsene Wenger has always been profile of buying younger players.
Yeah.
But when the money was right, he would go and spend too much money on Reyes, he spent too much money on Viltord. He will go and get the right player if he thinks it's right. I don't think he's got anywhere close to it. If they says to him there's 30 million, I don't think he's got 30 million pounds. That's why he doesn't get
There's the two things. Is the money there? Does he actually want to buy these guys? If you want a big stars, and he has spent big money. Reyes was 15 million or something like that. And everybody, yeah, he was a player who we knew, but was he a star player to do it? He's looking at an age thing all the time, and you need a mix to win things. And I think it's maybe showing. You know, he's not done it. He's gone for youth. And he's not won anything for the last 3 years.
And they need a team for now. They need to buy players that are going to come into the team.
He did it with Vieira, and he did, you know, players who we didn't really know, but were made an impact. They were a little bit older, and they were star players.
Just one more quick thought, Paul Walsh, on Manchester United. I mean, will Sir Alex Ferguson go there today and feel, this is it, we can kill off Arsenal as contenders this afternoon?
Well, I think he'll think with his circumstances at the moment, I don't think he's under any illusions that it's going to be a tough game. But we certainly think with what's gone on in the last couple of weeks at Arsenal, with the confidence levels are a little bit low. If they get right about them early on with the quality that they've got, they can more than win this game. I think it'll still be very difficult, but you know, it's back to that, Jeff. When things aren't going that well, Manchester United have the options to change it and bring on like-for-like quality and put a different perspective on the game. And that's what Arsenal don't have for me. And, you know, if you're asking me who's going to win the game, it would have to be Manchester United because they have those options.
Well, I am asking you. Paul, I'm going to ask you as well now. Paul Merson, who are you going for?
If Man United score first, I've got to go Man United today.
Yeah. Phil?
I just think you have a saying whereas good teams don't lose 2 matches in a row. I think Arsenal will get something out of this game. I expect them to draw.
Okay, Charlie?
I think Arsenal players have got a lot to prove. I think they'll get a draw today.
I tell you what, Arsene Wenger's getting things terribly wrong, isn't he? There's a waiting list of 40,000 for season tickets at the